everyone, it's Fantayzia. So today's video is going to be very go with the flow, discussion, podcast style type of video. I don't have anything, specifically that I want to make sure that I talk about. I just have a topic and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things within that topic. So the horse range pack is just on my mind and kind of that's leading me to think about like Sims 3 and The Sims 2 and all the packs for The Sims 4. Like I've just been having like so many thoughts go through my head and I was like, let's talk about it. So a lot of you guys tell me you enjoy like the podcast style of videos. So I thought, why not make a video about this? So you guys might know I posted a video not too long ago kind of discussing how I'm concerned about the Sims 4 horse ranch and just kind of like how it seems like there's a lack of content. And then the gameplay trailer came out and it was a little bit underwhelming. So I am someone who loves The Sims 4 and like for most of the expansion packs, I'm really freaking excited. Like I genuinely get so excited, like not even faking my excitement. I feel like that's clear in my videos when a new expansion pack drops. Now keep in mind, obviously I do get disappointed sometimes. Look at with high school years and stuff, I had my disappointments for sure. Nonetheless, I'm always freaking out. Like that is just how I am. I love this game and I've been like that since The Sims 2 days. I've played since The Sims 1, but I feel like I was pretty young at that point and like my obsession kind of grew and grew with The Sims 2. And yeah, I always would just get so excited about every freaking pack and that's just how I've always been. And yes, The Sims 4 has its downsides, but it also has a lot of things that I love. So, however, with Horse Ranch, I just have my concerns and I'm excited for the horses, don't get me wrong, but I just keep noticing this pattern and I can't help but think about Sims 3 pets. I can't help but think about it. And then I did a video where I was talking about resorts and then I started to think about this more. So like I said, this video, I don't have a specific list of things I want to talk about. It's just like a whole bunch of stuff in one topic. So if I'm bouncing back and forth, hope you guys don't mind. But that's just the style that I wanted this to be in. So yeah, made a video about resorts and I was kind of thinking that hotels and resorts are going to come after horses at some point or ferries. But either way, I was talking about how I feel like at some point after horses, we're going to get hotels and resorts game pack. Maybe it'll be an expansion pack. I don't know. I just always thought that would be a game pack. But then again, like we're getting horses in a whole expansion pack, like a whole expansion pack just for horses. So in that sense, I'm like, okay, wait, like a resort system is kind of a lot if it's not already implemented into the game yet. Like if you think about it, that's like a lot is going to be going on with that. And if they add hotels like with the resorts, which would only make sense, that's like a whole other system. Like literally they would have to implant a hotel system where they'll function like a hotel and everything. So then I'm like, oh, okay. Knowing how The Sims 4 is, like that'll probably also be an expansion pack. So then I'm like, oh my goodness. So then I started thinking about like, wow, in The Sims 3, like, by the way, I don't mean to compare, but I feel like in this sense, it only makes sense because if you think about it, they're the same game, but it's like a new generation, right? So it's just like if we got so much content before in one pack and then now it's like we get half that and it's the same price. That's where I'm just like, what is going on? What is going on? That's not even me complaining. That's just me like full on confused. If you think about it, we got pets and it had cats and dogs. We got horses. We got a whole new world and the world was like a good size. Like all the worlds in The Sims 3, I feel like were like really good size. And of course it was open world as well, which I don't mind The Sims 4 being closed world, but just like, I don't know, it's just a thing in my head how like the fact that the worlds were all open and they were big and we got all this content with every single expansion pack. There was no such thing as game packs also, like we would get stuff packs and expansion packs. Now I will say we had a Sims 3 store and like that was definitely overpriced. So I feel like a lot of people forget about that. I remember that. So when I'm talking about these things, don't think that I'm forgetting about how pricey the Sims 3 store was. Trust me, I know it was insane. But I feel like every Sims game is just gonna have something that is a little unnecessary. Like we have kits now in The Sims 4, like there's just always something. So like, we're not even going to talk about that. We're not even going to talk about the Sims 3 store and we're not even going to talk about kits. Those are excluded. So I'm specifically talking about, the packs that actually are important in my opinion. I feel like expansion packs are just always the thing that's most important to everyone. They're the most expensive. They're the thing that's supposed to expand the game the most. They take the longest to create. We get them very spaced apart. Like sometimes we've only even gotten one expansion pack a year. It's just the thing that is the most waited for, the most hyped up, everything. So in The Sims 3, like the fact that we got, a pets expansion pack we got turtles. I'm going to forget some of them. I think we got, hamsters? But like, okay, basically we got reptiles. I don't remember like every single reptile. Like, could you get a snake? I don't even know. I just know there was turtles because I was obsessed with the turtles. And then we had the cats and dogs, we had horses. Like, what the heck else was in that pack? We just got all the animals. And I know it didn't have like farm animals, obviously the horses, but it didn't have like cows and stuff like that. But either way, we got the one full pets expansion pack. We got the big world. We got so many different things. I feel like they had so many different interactions. Nothing felt limited. Like, I just felt like they had everything you would expect them to have. It didn't feel like the horses were half-assed or anything like that. They felt like full-blown horses, you know? They were part of your household. They could have babies. Like, everything was there. And then same with the cats and dogs, and the reptiles were really awesome. Like, you know, it was just everything was there that we needed. Like, no one felt like, oh, like, why is this not here? Why is this missing? This is lackluster. Like, I never really heard that with the Sims 3 pets. Same thing with Supernatural. I feel like they did them all really well. Like, there was nothing missing with them, in my opinion. I, like, never thought that. It was just a full-blown Supernatural expansion. It had fairies, vampires, werewolves, witches. We had all the things. And it was good just like that. But then in The Sims 4, they're all split up. And that never bothered me. But then just, like, I think the horse thing is like making me just think about all of it and just like really take a step back and be like, oh my god, you know, like everything is so split up. And I know we've all been talking about this for a long time, but I feel like horses is like the tip of the iceberg. Like, I don't know why that's the tip of the iceberg for me. I can't even tell you. And I didn't even feel like this when they first announced horses. I think like if they added way more gameplay with horses, like, you know, that was not just to do with the horses themselves, like other things, I feel like I wouldn't feel this way. Because like I've said, when they first announced the horses, I didn't feel this way until I found out that there just wasn't much there. And I think it becomes very alarming when like the pack description and then the description on the website when they made a blog post were very similar. Like, they didn't have enough to say. But I didn't doubt it too much at that point because I was like, okay, maybe they're just like not saying much, you know. The behind the Sims didn't show really much else either. And then the gameplay trailer, like everything is just kind of showing the same stuff. And I feel like at this point, I'm just nervous. And then the gurus, the sim gurus, you guys, they're not all hyped. What is going on with that? I'm like not on Twitter that much anymore. Like, I'll go on and scroll a little bit. So like I miss a lot, but then I keep on seeing people saying, why aren't the sim gurus like hyping this up this time? Why do they not seem as excited? Like, where are they? Like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, that freaks me out even more. And I feel like when a pack is going to be really good, they're hyping it up a lot, you guys. Like, they are making their tweets, they're teasing at us, they're like saying all the things, you know. And when I'm filming this, it is the 10th. Probably when this goes up, it'll be like the 11th or the 12th. And yeah, so the pack is like not even far away. When I'm filming this, it's like 10 days away. Why isn't there more being said? Like, I'm so confused. I don't understand. And then like going back, because I kept jumping back and forth, like I mentioned the hotels and resorts, like how I think there's going to be a game pack for that sometime after the horse ranch, whether fairies comes first or a resorts pack. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because when I did that video, I put in trailers from The Sims 3 for Island Paradise, and I got a couple comments talking about how like seeing the trailers for that like made you miss that so much and made you realize how full that was, and then how like we got island living in The Sims 4 and it just like didn't have so many of the features that we were hoping it was gonna have. It was kind of like a half-baked Island Paradise. That's kind of what Island Living was. Again, I love Island Living. Like, here's the thing for me. This is my dilemma. Like, I love so many of the packs, and that's why I don't know. I talk about things I don't like, and I'll be honest with you guys, but like I don't do many videos just like complaining about stuff because like, well, I love the game. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't always have like something negative to say, you know what I mean? But like, obviously with loving the game, you play it a lot and you're going to notice things. So with that being said, I just feel like Island Living, yes, it's good. The world is beautiful. It's still one of my top favorite worlds. Still, every single time I have my Sims go there, I'm just happy. Like, it just makes me happy. Like, the world is so sunny and I just love it so much. I love the scenery. That has to be my favorite thing though, is the world itself. You know how much I would love that even more if we got the hotels and resorts? Like, that had to have been the biggest bummer out of everything. Like, I just remember so many of the simmers. I remember I was at EA Play for that, and that's when I got to film early content. And when we all found out there's no hotels and resorts, that was the biggest letdown ever. But like, I still loved the pack. Like, the dolphins, oh my gosh, I was dying. Like, I remember my excitement for that was beyond. Like, I was so excited. So it's not that I was disappointed in that pack or something. There was just things that I was like very taken back by, I guess. Like, I just expected resorts. Like, why wouldn't there be resorts? That doesn't even make sense. So like, that was just so shocking to me at the time. Like, I remember when it first got announced, like, I didn't even question it. I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting resorts. But no. And still, we're in 2023 and we still don't have hotels or resorts. So it just, the horse thing got me thinking, and how like, oh my gosh, now we're probably like, if they are going to do hotels and resorts, which I think we've gotten surveys that have talked about something with it. So like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, oh, they probably are going to give us that separately. And it's like, everything's just getting split up. And then it's just like, we're paying bigger prices for like a smaller amount of things. And I'm not saying this is not the guru's fault at all. So like, keep that in mind. Like, I feel like maybe they don't even like this. I mean, I don't know, but like, it's definitely not their fault. Like, the packs used to be so full. They don't really have control over that. And it's just like, for whatever reason, the budget is just like so weird with The Sims 4 to create things. It seems like it's costing so much more money than it did in The Sims 3. I don't know anything about game development. So like, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, but like, that's just what it seems like. Like, it just, I think that's why like the packs are feeling smaller and smaller. And then this is what I also wanted to touch on. So, you know, the hype obviously hasn't been as high for horses, and you can just tell like there's just not as much hype going around with like news videos about horses and stuff. Like, it's just less excitement like compared to Growing Together. Oh my goodness. Like, the hype for Growing Together was insanity. Absolutely. And that definitely had a big part in the fact that we were getting infants too. But like, regardless, whether you were talking about infants or Growing Together around that time, like, everyone was so interested, and it's just like a lot different this time. And I think it's because, you know, everyone, so say some people are excited for the pack, right? The only thing they really have to be excited for is like 3 things, maybe 4. But like, you know, I mean, the main focus point is of course the horses. So like, if people are excited for the pack, a lot of them are just excited for the horses. Of course, there's the mini sheep and the mini goats. Actually, one thing I will say though is some people are actually buying it just for the mini sheep and the mini goats, and they don't care about the horses. So there's also that side. But yeah, horses, mini sheep, mini goats, the new world, and nectar making. I know there's other little things, right? But it's just like, they're very little things. We're getting new dances, but that's not like introducing a new thing. That's just like expanding on something, like giving us a new type of dance. Obviously, we already have dancing. So there is another issue. We're getting just a lot of like the cookouts. We already have things like that. It's just kind of like a different form of it, I guess. Going off of like how the hype is not as high, I feel like a big problem with the Sims 4 expansion packs is that even when there is a lot of hype, it dies so fast. Like, they'll still enjoy the pack, but like, you'll get over it so quickly and it just won't have that same excitement level. I've noticed that for like a while. Like, obviously this game's getting really old. I think that also has something to do with it. It's a mix of things. I feel like it's the fact that The Sims 4 is like the longest running Sims game for one, and then, you know, some people are just like, oh my gosh, I'm so over The Sims 4, like give me The Sims 5. Or the people who don't want Sims 5, or they just don't really care, like, you know, they're fine with, you know, waiting. They still just kind of get over things really quickly because the packs don't have the depth that we want them to have. I think Growing Together does, but like a lot of them don't. And then it's weird because even with Growing Together, I've seen a lot of people say that they're kind of over it already, even though it's like probably one of the best expansion packs along with the seasons. And I think with that, it's just because, like, again, with The Sims 3, the amount of content that the expansion packs had, you could play them for like a whole, this is if you're like a YouTuber, so I'm just kind of going off that, but you could play them for like a whole 50 episode Let's Play and still not cover all the content. That's how big the expansion packs were. No one would get bored unless you just didn't like The Sims 3. But if you were a Sims 3 lover, you did not get bored. Like, it was just something you could keep on playing. I remember being a teenager and being up all night playing The Sims 3 and just always have something to do. Like, even if there wasn't any new packs. And now I feel like a lot of players, I see them say like they, you know, haven't played for a few months and they're waiting for the new pack, and then they get obsessed with the game again when the pack comes out, and then they play the pack through, and then they're bored again and they don't touch it. And I feel like there's this vicious cycle of that with The Sims 4. Obviously, I'm not speaking for everyone. This is just like, I'm making general statements that I feel like a lot of the community is feeling. And like, I see a lot of people say these things like on Twitter and stuff like that in my YouTube comments. So I'm not speaking for everyone. Obviously, there's some people who The Sims 4 is the only Sims game they've played and it's their favorite and they can play it every single day. So everyone's different in that sense. I also think it really depends if you've played the other games, because then you can actually like see the differences more. But I will say, sometimes when I put Sims 3 trailers in my videos, in discussion videos, I just said videos so close together and that sounded weird. But some people are like, oh my gosh, I've never played The Sims 3, but it looks like it had so much more depth and so much more to it. So did The Sims 2, by the way. The reason I'm just not talking about The Sims 2 very much is because I feel like it was so long ago And that's like my favorite one, The Sims 2, love, love, love. But you know, that was a long time ago and I just feel like to kind of bounce off The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 makes more sense. Especially because you expect every Sims game to be like an upgrade. And then a lot of people feel like The Sims 4 was a downgrade. Now, I don't necessarily feel like The Sims 4 is a downgrade per se. Definitely in some ways, like there is definitely some things that are downgraded. Like obviously, I feel like everyone can agree on that when it comes to like, you know, even The Sims 3 has like the color wheel and stuff. And then obviously cars were taken away and all of that. So yeah, it's definitely a downgrade in ways, but I don't think it's a downgrade in every way. Like I feel like Creative Sim has a lot of improvements, build mode. So I definitely think there is a lot of good things, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to content, the amount of content we're given, the depth of the content has a huge, huge, huge impact on keeping people's interest and how long they can play and how long they are hyped about something to like watch content on, whatever the case may be. I just feel like there's like a huge, huge shift. And what's crazy is I'm actually more worried now than I was like a year ago, which is weird because you would think it would be the other way around, because I feel like in some of my videos, I've talked about how I feel like there's been improvements with the Sims packs lately, which is still true, but maybe not so much with Horse Ranch. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like the horses are going to be very well animated and very detailed. So in that sense, I feel like it's an improvement, but then like because of that, the rest is going to be lacking. So then I'm like so conflicted. Like it's just like the most conflicting pack ever to me, you guys. Oh my gosh. Like my review videos when this comes out is going to be like so difficult for me because I already know I'm going to love the horses, but then like what about everything else? Like I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I thought my fears were kind of just out the window when it came to just kind of worrying about the depth in packs. And I was like, okay, they're getting better. They're giving us what we want, you know, all that stuff. But no, I feel like those fears are coming back. And I just feel like for some reason, Horse Ranch is giving me the idea that they're just going to keep on doing this. Like I really think they're going to milk this as much as they can until it's done. Like I really think that. And I already knew they were milking it, but I'm just a little worried that the splitting up the content is going to get worse at this point so that they can release even more packs. And like, we know that with kits, that was something that kind of showed us, okay, they're totally okay with going in the route of splitting up the content into even smaller pieces, right? And then now seeing Horse Ranch, that's like further proving that. Like we got Cottage Living and then now Horse Ranch, like it just keeps being divided. And so I'm like, okay, what else are they gonna do? So when it comes to like, if we get a fairies pack, I'm okay with that because obviously we already know The Sims 3 had a full supernatural pack, but in The Sims 4, they've always been splitting them up. So that's just like how, you know, we knew it was always going to be. Ever since we got vampires, that was so long ago. And yeah, so that's just how it's been. So that is completely expected. But as for other things, I don't think we all expected it when it came to like having a million different animal packs. And then they didn't include pigs. And I'm just hoping that's because, you know, usually pigs are slaughtered and stuff. So I'm assuming that's why they didn't include them. I still don't understand though, because they could have just made them like cute little pigs. Because, you know, a lot of animals are slaughtered. So even ones we've gotten, like cows. And like, I know it's because they have a purpose to give milk in the game. So, you know, like, what would pigs do? But that's what I'm saying. They could just be cute. Like, they could just, like, have them be on the farm for, like, a cute thing. So I don't really get why we didn't get pigs. And I'm hoping that just means, you know, we're not going to get them and they're not going to put them in another pack. I want pigs, but, like, I don't want another animal pack. Definitely not. So I guess we'll have to see. But what do you guys think about that? Like, do you think they're going to do another one? I don't know, because we're still missing birds and stuff, like parrots and all that. So then I'm just like, oh my goodness, like... Are we going to get another animal pack because of what is going on? But yeah, I feel like this discussion was definitely all over the place. Comment down below your thoughts. It's just so hard to be excited about things while also having so many worries. And that's where I'm at. So it's just like so much confliction. Like I don't even know what to think half the time. I'm just like, I'm excited, but I'm not excited. I don't know how to feel. Like I'm just like all over the place. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this discussion here. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast style of video. And I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.